English teacher. Today, we are going to learn about using going to in the future, but in the negative sense. Let's start with our idiom of the week. Break the ice. Break the ice. The meaning of break the ice is to make someone feel comfortable. Example, I think I'm going to break the ice with a joke. Break the ice. Let's review lesson 23. I'll give you a verb and you make a sentence with going to. He is going to read. You are going to walk. You are going to sleep. We are going to drive. I am going to study. She is going to eat. I am going to cook. They are going to talk. Good. Okay, so as you know from lesson 23, when we use going to for the future, we have to start with the verb to be. Okay, so last week we reviewed to be, but now we are going to review the negative of to be. So we have I am not. I am not. You are not. You are not. He is not. He is not. She is not. She is not. We are not. We are not. They are not. They are not. Okay, so then, just like last week in 23, we have the verb to be, then not, and then going to, and the verb. Okay, that's how we make a future tense sentence with going to. So, I am not going to work. I am not going to work. You are not going to study. You are not going to study. He is not going to exercise. He is not going to exercise. She is not going to cook. She is not going to cook. We are not going to clean. We are not going to clean. They are not going to run. They are not going to run. Okay, so then we also have contractions, right? In English, we don't like to say all the words. We like to shove them together, right? So instead of I am not, we usually say I'm not. I'm not. You aren't. You aren't. He isn't. He isn't. You can hear how that S almost becomes a Z. Okay, isn't. Z. Okay, isn't. He isn't. She isn't. We aren't. They aren't. Okay, now we have that negative to be with going to and a verb. Okay, so I'm not going to work. You aren't going to study. He isn't going to exercise. She isn't going to cook. We aren't going to clean. They aren't going to run. Okay, so let's practice. I'll give you a picture and we're going to use the contractions in here and the full sentence. We're going to change it up. So, I'm not going to study. You aren't going to sleep. He isn't going to read. She isn't going to eat. We aren't going to drive. They aren't going to talk. I'm not going to cook. You aren't going to walk. Okay, it's your turn. He isn't going to read. You aren't going to walk. We aren't going to drive. I'm not going to study. You aren't going to sleep. She isn't going to eat. I'm not going to cook. They aren't going to talk. Good. Okay, here is a conversation. Do you want to order a pizza? Sure, I guess. Why? I'm tired. I'm not going to cook tonight. That's fair. I'm going to order Chinese food instead, though. That's fine. I'll eat anything. Okay, I'll do blue, you do white. Ready? Do you want to order a pizza? I'm tired. I am not going to cook tonight. That's fine. I'll eat anything. Excellent. So next we have dictation practice. As you know, for dictation practice, I'm going to say a sentence. You're going to listen, write it down, and then check your answer. Ready? We aren't going to study. We aren't going to study. We aren't going to study. They aren't going to drive. 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 She isn't going to read. She isn't going to read. She isn't going to read. He isn't going to cook. He isn't going to cook. He isn't going to cook. Who will be there tomorrow? 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 We aren't going to talk. 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 I'm not going to work tomorrow. 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 They aren't going to clean. 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 You aren't going to eat. 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 Great job. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and I will see you next time. Bye.